across the floor. Do not teach me anymore. If what I have is not enough, this paradise has turned to dust for you. For you. So please don't turn the light out. Let it burn brighter. I can see so clearly now. 'Cause there's a fear that's greater, drags us through the danger, to the things that hold us down. Drag this tide out through the night. I'm still unsure of what is right. But the last time we celebrate this quiet hour, I will wait for you. For you. So please don't turn the light out. Let it burn brighter. I can see so clearly now. 'Cause there's a fear that's greater, drags us through the danger, to the things that hold us down. I try to fight what can't be seen, and what there was will never be still. Other sides that we can't steal, it can't deny the way I feel. So don't turn the light out. Let it burn brighter. I can see so clearly now. For every fear that's fading, another heart is waiting. It takes a man to hold things down.
Yes, people, welcome back to another stream. Mr. Elbin's episode. Hopefully, you guys are all well. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Subscribe to Nobbins, link in description. Mint video last night on Abdu Husanov. My advice is watch the first 8 minutes and then switch off.
What happens after minute 8, LB? What happens?
You go through the cons. I don't know how many people have seen the video, right? You need to go check it out, yeah. But like the first 8 minutes, I'm literally sitting here, right, in this very seat. I'm sitting here watching the video, and I'm like, this guy fucking sick. Like, this guy's gonna be the next fucking Diaz. He's gonna be.
You were texting me as well. It was really funny.
He's gonna save us. He's gonna save us. He's gonna fix Manchester City. This guy. And then you go, but there are some negatives, and I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, oh no, I don't watch. And then the clips and that. Honestly, guys, you need to go watch it, man. It's an insane video, like really, really good video. But you'll see exactly what I mean. You'll see exactly what I mean if you've not seen it, mate. Yeah, Rachel, you did the same. It's mad, isn't it? I've never been so gassed for a player before, and then instantly slammed down and be like, oh shit, maybe he's not what we need. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, but,
I really had you in the first half.
The first half, yeah. If you've got 8 minutes, guys, go watch it and then cut off when he says the negatives. No, but it is good. It is interesting, and I mean, we kind of knew this anyway, so I'm not going to make it as like a big bombazzo. But Jack Gordon's come out this morning and said Victor Hayes will be joining Manchester City this January. £29.3 million transfer. So that looks like it's going to be a done deal. I imagine that he's probably going to fly over to Manchester probably today or tomorrow, and that's going to get done. And he is going to be joining. He is going to be joining Manchester City, which is interesting. And I don't know your thoughts on that, but from what I read online, reading like the sort of like journalist opinions and like what they were saying that City felt a lot more confident in Victor Hayes coming into the first team straight away instead of Huzanov. They basically feel like Hayes is more suited to the team right now. Huzanov needs a bit more development, man. So I don't know. I know you got a video going to come out soon on Victor Hayes, but like, yeah, what's your thoughts on that? You think that like Victor Hayes might actually go straight into the first team?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I am for full disclosure, I haven't finished my scouting of Hayes yet, so I take everything I say with a pinch of salt because these views are subject to change because I haven't yet finalized my thoughts on him. But that wouldn't surprise me. In terms of like what you'd define as a stereotypical or just like typical Pep centre back. Hayes seems to fit that billing and fit that mold more so than Kusanov, for example. Even though I touched on in the video and I say, people say that Kusanov is more of a no-nonsense defender. And I don't agree with that, but I see where people are coming from like his defensive perspective. Hayes is much more like the sort of mold of again, from the very limited footage I've seen so far, it's much more like a Stones mold or a Gavardio mold than a Kusanov, who's much more like a Ruben Diaz mold, for example. So it would not surprise me if that was the case. I believe from like a utility perspective as well, he's probably more likely to be able to defend out wide straight away than Kusanov. So that's going to help him out massively because I'd be very surprised if they would want to shove these players into a centre back position immediately, whereas you can pop them in at full back and it's a bit more of an easier integration. So it wouldn't surprise me if, let's say, both of them arrive on day one, if Hayes gets the nod quicker than Kusanov, obviously injuries depending. Yeah, like this guy is massively rated. When the news dropped, I saw like loads of like people who I respect on like in like the online space with non-City fans saying, "Oh God, I'm gutted that we didn't get him." For some Chelsea fans saying, "I'm so upset we didn't get him." So it's obviously really highly regarded. And it's exciting, man. He's 18 years old as well, is he? He's only 18. He's literally a baby. My question will be, again, I haven't finished my scouting of him yet, but my question will be, there's a very limited sample size of what we have to go off. I think he's only played like 18 or 19 games for Palmeiras in the Brazilian league. So I don't know what his international experience is either. I'm assuming
he's not played at all for Brazil. He's only gone up to the under 17s because that Sud-Americanos on starts this month, which you'll probably like. It's late. The games are late, but you'll like it. Maybe you could record it and watch the games the day after if you don't want to stay up late. But he's not been selected for that, which is a bit annoying because it's Brazil-Argentina first game and Echeverry's there. So that would have been pretty. It would have been so cool to see Echeverry versus Victor Hayes, but he's not been selected.
No, that's such a shame. But yeah, I mean, and also people right in the chat as well. There you go, Madrid getting humbled again. In general, if a club of the ilk of Madrid is interested, and if they are resorting to coming out with copium pieces, because I believe I saw something like the Madrid zone. They said Real Madrid were put off because Victor Hayes can't defend out wide. I'm sorry, but based on the limited footage I've seen of him, that's a load of tripe. He absolutely can defend out wide to a very high standard, especially for his age. So I don't know where that's come from. But that's obviously the level of copium that they're dealing with and have resorted to. So that's also a good sign. It looks like a massive coup from a City perspective.
And it's
again,
come out of nowhere, bro.
Yeah, and that's what you and I were discussing at this, in sort of like, day 5 or 6 of the window. It's a bit concerning that there's no news come out, but you never know what's happening in the background. And look what's happened. As you say, this happened, I feel like, over the course of only a few days, and the Here We Go's come out of nowhere as well. So that's massive. And again, I know that we don't really want to talk about it, but with the whole backdrop of the uncertainty around the club, it's just nice that City have got the pull to bring in a centre-back who's apparently on everyone's hit list. So that's massive. I'm really happy with him as a concept, definitely.
No, I agree. And the thing is for me, it's like I'm looking at this defense, and we've spoken a lot about John Stones. Like we've spoken a lot about Nathan Ake, and we've had the conversation that we don't want to have. Right? I've had it many times on the stream. I'm sure you've had the conversation about what do we do with Ake and Stones in January and medium to long term, i.e., the summer after that. Do you have to get rid of them? Do you have to get rid of one of them? Do you have to get rid of both of them because of their injury problems? Nothing to do with their quality. Nothing to do with their quality. These two players, Ake and Stones, have been absolutely fantastic servants for the football club, right? I'm pretty sure you won't find a bad word in the chat about these two players. However, they're never fit. More so with John Stones, right? And that causes problems. And it's not just a case of what I've actually realised a lot this season that I've never really clocked before is it's actually causing problems for the other players now. Yes. Because the other players are coming back from injury, and because John Stones is always injured, they're being rushed back, and then they're getting injured, and it's like a spiral effect. And it's the root cause is the players that are always injured, and the other players are having to pick up the slack. And then you've got players like Josko Gvardiol, who's not been injured, but he's now playing poorly because he's not been given a rest. He's only not started. Did he come on? I don't think he come off the bench. Did he come off the bench the other day when he started on the bench? Against Salford.
Against Salford, he didn't come on, did he? No,
he didn't come on. So that's only 2 games in the entire season for club and country now that Josko Gvardiol's not played. Yeah, Liverpool away and Salford City. Every other game he's either started or come off the bench. Why? Because we simply don't have the players available for him to be rested. And now he's starting to make mistakes and make bozo errors, something that we didn't see last year. Now I put that down to the guy's probably just mentally knackered. Now, you can be more critical if you want, but that's my opinion, is that the guy's just mentally fatigued because he can't get a rest. These players need to be rested. They need to be rotated, but we can't do that because we don't have the players because they're all injured. So we get these 2 young players in, maybe 3, Juma Bar. Obviously, that seems like it's a little bit further behind, but maybe we're going to get Juma Bar in as well. So that'll be 3 players. And if we do get him, I think he might be loaned anyway. But you get these 2 players, Abdu Huzanov, Victor Hayes. You bring them into the team, right? You bring them into the squad. Now, do they go straight into the first team immediately? I would guess probably not, right? But what it will do is it'll take the pressure off Ake because this guy's playing with injury. Hence why he gets subbed off after 60 minutes in the last couple of matches. Yeah, Akanji, the same. Gvardiol might be able to be rested. Yeah, so they can come in and they can take the pressure off. Final 20 minutes of a game, if we're winning 2-3-0, we can put them on. Bed them in. And I think for me, whilst I'm buzzing about their potential and I'm super excited because who isn't excited about buying these young players who have got all these hype and all this potential? Everyone's excited. I'm more happy because we've got these players in now and we can give players rest and we can rotate and all that kind of stuff. And that's what's needed. Now, what do we do in the summer when it comes to John Stones or Ake? I'd imagine that one of them will probably leave, if not both of them. The one of them will be John Stones, I think. I think, unfortunately, it's come to the point where I think John Stones is probably going to leave, unless he can maybe stay fit to the end of the season. I think you might need to buy a more senior player because you're going to have a couple of young players there. But let's see. For me, these players, these two young players coming in, Abdu Huzanov and Victor Hayes, they've got an opportunity here. They've got an opportunity. If I was Pep, I'd be like, listen, lads, like you've got Ake, you've got Diaz who are coming to the Diaz, you got Ake and Stones who are sort of coming to their end of their natural cycle at Manchester City due to injuries and just naturally due to age. You've got an opportunity here to nail down this position. And if you nail it down, it could be yours for the next decade. So they've got such an incentive. It's going to be tricky. And I don't want to hammer too much pressure on them because they are only young and they're coming from different countries and they probably don't speak a word of English. But I think it's a brilliant time, and it'll be interesting to see what we do in the summer. But that defense has needed to be rebuilt, I think, for again probably needed start since the treble. And to be fair, we did buy Gvardiol, but we need a little bit more, and the club are obviously doing that. And I'm excited to see how this goes. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, just building on that, because you mentioned the injury situation, it's also worsened when you consider that. I think that in general, Pep would like to, and seemingly for the past couple of years, Pep wants to play 4 centre-backs across the back line in general. So it means that because of the utility of the players, it's no longer, if a player gets injured, it's not, if a Kanji gets injured, for example, it's not just, oh, one of our centre-back options has been injured. No. A right-back option has also been injured, and a left-back option has also been injured. So you lose one player, you're actually losing 2 or 3 positions, and then you compound that, with Ake going as well. It's not just centre-back, it's also left-back and Gavardio. It's not just left-back, it's also centre-back and so on and so on. So 100%, that's one injury compounds another, and it sees that, and just like shows, that when you go into the season with, what did we go in with, like 7 senior defensive options?
7.
Yeah.
Which wasn't enough, but I said that at the time.
Indeed. And one of them is Kyle Walker, who, that's a thing. And then, so that leaves you with 6, really. So you've got 6 centre-backs to cover 4 areas. So you only need one injury to create a massive domino effect of shite. And that's exactly what's happened this season. In terms of the players coming in respect to Kusana, for example, just touching on the more negative aspects of my analysis of him, it wasn't harsh. In case no one's seen it, it wasn't harsh, by the way. It was just,
no. It wasn't
trying to be objective. Because again, I did caveat everything by saying, look, he's 20. There's so much room to grow. There's so much time to develop. He's only played 30 games for Lon. He's only played 30 games in Europe. So there's so much time for him to improve. I think in normal circumstances, it would be lovely if we didn't have to rely on Kusanov immediately or a Hayes and throw them into the first team, and we could just go, let's have a chill, and we will integrate you slowly but surely into the side, and then maybe next season you'll get more starting time. But to be honest, this season we do not have that luxury. We do not have that luxury because we are so shocking, especially without Ruben Diaz. We don't have someone who actually wants to defend. That makes sense. That's what Kusanov is. So for me, from now to the end of the season,
old school, isn't he? Old school with a modern touch.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of his defensive style, 100%. So for me, I think every single game this season, one of them should be starting in every single game, because I think without at least one of them in the side, in general, there are some good players in that back four, but it looks a bit flimsier, and it looks more like a defense where the opposition can go, yeah, we can get at these. Whereas if you've got a Diaz in there, you've got a Kusanov in there, it becomes a much trickier task for opposition forwards. So at least one of them should be starting every single week, in my view, despite my issues with Kusanov. But yes, it's an exciting time. Defensive upgrades, long term, you'd like to think. I think there was just a comment there about what does this mean for JSP. Sadly, it probably means that the club don't really view him as a permanent long-term starter, because why else would you?
I agree. I don't think, from what I've seen, I don't think he's going to be long-term Manchester City. And it's weird because people will be like, why? He's not played badly. I feel like when you're playing City and you're an academy player, you don't get that many chances to impress. And I don't think he's been bad.
No, he hasn't. I think
that's not the question. Has he been good enough? I think that's the question. And I don't think he's quite been good enough. Now, I think it's harsh because at the end of the day, he's been thrown into a defence and a team which has been super bad. And that's not very fair. He's played with a Kanji, and I think it would have really helped him if he would have played next to Diaz, a leader, someone that can just guide him through the game. Whereas a Kanji's not going to do that. Kanji's not a leader. A Kanji's the second guy.
Kanji needs his handheld.
Yeah, Kanji's the Jolien Lescott to Vincent Kompany. Yeah,
yes.
He needs the captain next to him to tell him, yo, this is what we're doing. I'm going to lead us. You just do your shit, yeah? Whereas he's not. Obviously, he's been playing with a cat, and I don't think that's probably helped him. I just don't. Listen, I think the thing is with me, with JSP, I think he's going to have a career in football, guys, yeah? And for me, that's
Premier League career as well, I think. Top flight.
Possibly, very possibly. I think for me, that's what it is. These academy players that are 18, 19, it's about, the number one is, can I have a career in football? Because he spent 10 years, 12 years in the academy system to just not play. I think he's going to have a career in football. To what level? I don't know. But fair play to him. You know what? Listen, I never come away from a game when he's played and been like, he was crap today. So fair, in a team that's been really, really bad. So who knows? Listen, it's maybe if he would have been playing next to Diaz, maybe I'd be saying something different. But I can only tell you what I think, and my opinion is I don't think he stood out enough for me. to be like, yeah, I think he's got a future. And obviously the club probably don't view that as well, given the fact that they've spent possibly, 80, 90 million euros on 3 centre-backs, if you include Juma Bar, if we're getting him.
Yeah.
So you can only go off that. But, fair play to the kid, man. He's done well. And, he's been thrown into a bad situation. And like I say, he never really dropped a major bozo. So.
No, definitely. He was thrown into the deep end against probably the most informed striker in the world against Sporting. And I thought that he actually played well, to be honest with you. And people say he should have done better for X goal, but I still think he played quite well, in all honesty. And yeah, it's basically irrelevant what you and I think, because you look at what the club are doing and the fact that they've already spent, was it around £60 million on centre-backs. And it's not like they've spent £60 million on, senior centre-backs. You go, okay, that makes sense. JSP's not a senior player yet. No. They've spent them on young centre-backs who are basically around his age. I mean, Hayes is actually younger than him because JSP's 19, isn't he? So Hayes is actually younger than him. So I think that basically tells you what the club think about JSP's City prospects. Whether that's right or wrong is up for debate, but that's clearly the message the club is sending by purchasing two centre-backs of around the same age for 60 million quid or so. That's not an insignificant investment. That's quite a significant investment, actually.
Absolutely. And Tariq, big up Tariq, man. No. That's the answer to that question. But again, it's about what Nobbins is saying. It's about the message that the club is sending. The message of signing 2 young centre-backs for big money. That message tells me, and I guess you could interpret it differently if you want, but the way I interpret the message is the same as Nobbins. I interpret it as they think, deciding these two centre-backs for big cash, it sounds like they're going to go straight into the first 11, maybe it's definitely the squad. I get the impression, therefore, they don't see him as a long-term option. But I've never seen Victor Hayes or Victor Huzanov play once. I've only seen the compilations. It's about the message that I'm getting. Yeah, Bailey's on this one. Big up Bailey, bro. Says the best City crop of defenders are 16. Yeah, Buffoni, man. Listen, he's a
what
baller.
Position specifically?
Well, I like him. That Buffoni. He's a left-sided centre-back. I did it. Did you watch my academy video? No, you didn't. Because you don't watch my videos, but I watch yours.
Wasn't it? Well, sorry, hang on. Wasn't it a 90-minute live stream?
No, it was a 10-minute video.
Oh, sorry, I'm a fraud then, my bad.
I watch every single one of this guy's frauds video, and the one video that I actually put some effort into, because it's an actual video where I actually had to edit shit, and he doesn't watch it, chat.
I will watch it then. I didn't realize. I thought it was a live show. That's my bad. If you put effort into it and you've edited it, popped it in like Premiere Pro or whatever, I will
Premiere
watch that.
Pro it, bro.
I will bloody watch that after my live show later today. I can assure you of that. I promise you.
But yeah, Buffoni, man, I really like this guy, bro. I really like this guy, man. You know what I mean? 16 years old. He's massive. He's a massive, tall, quite a scrawny player. Unbelievable on the ball. Unbelievable on the ball.
So do you say he's left-footed as well?
Left-footed. He's Laporte style. Like with them cross-field pingers.
My favourite style.
Honestly, mate, these cross-field ping, unbelievable, mate. Keep your eye out on him because I reckon he's going to the top, mate. He looks like a top player. I'm not sure on any of the other 16-year-olds, to be fair. That's
good to know that there's another crop of lads going through. Bradley, he played against Watford, didn't he?
Yeah, he played against them. I don't know the other 2 guys. I don't know the other 2 guys. Yeah, big up Gav. Big up to Gav. Gav was on the video. Says JSP wasn't standing out at 16 like Mafuni did. And still does. As we always say, there's levels to this shit, says Gav. Man.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I do like the look of him, man. Go check out my video, man. It's pretty cool video.
No, I genuinely will. After my live show, I will. I promise.
Let me come to some of these chats, man. Big up to Anthony, bro. Says, when do we get the 3 signings done now? I reckon, man. Well, the thing is, Frankfurt played today. And I don't think City really want him to be playing. But it depends on you. Bro, some people are saying it's a done deal. Some people are saying like there's still negotiations to be done. So I'm not sure, mate, on the Mamouche one. Victor Hayes, I think, will sign this week. Because that seems like it's got the full here we go on the paperwork. So I reckon maybe Thursday or Friday. Probably Friday. Huzanov, maybe tomorrow. Maybe he'll fly today and maybe get the paperwork done today, the medical done today, maybe announced tomorrow. And then obviously, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And maybe Marmoush. I don't know Marmoush, man. Some people are saying there's still negotiations to be done on the fee. Some people are saying it's done. It's clearly very nearly done. So hopefully we get them all done this week anyway. Because we could do with them going in. Like obviously they can't play the PSG game, right? But it'd be nice for them to be in around the squad at that time. Not for the game because they can't play the game. But you know what I mean, in and around the squad. So that'd be pretty decent. When are we going to get this done? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. In the next couple of days, I reckon. I reckon all three of them done by the end of the week.
It seems only a matter of time, doesn't it, for Marmoush? As I say, I'm sure that it's like, all essentially done except for like the tiny minor formality details, is seemingly, because every single legitimate, credible source is saying it's effectively done. So we're just waiting for the absolute final say.
Exactly. LB says, mean knob, leave baby Khabib alone, says LB.
I'm not being mean. I'm just outlining some concerns I have for a professional athlete. That's all it is. There's nothing untoward or nefarious going on here. It is legitimate critique. That is all.
That was. I'm actually really, really impressed how you've managed in a space of a 12-minute video to initially convince me that this guy is the best defender in world football, and at the same time convince me that this guy is absolutely trash. I don't know how you managed to do that, but you did.
That's called storytelling and character development. Yeah, that's what that is. Well,
honestly,
when I was writing that script, I was thinking, right, how can I debate LB here in the space of a second? And there we go.
Honestly, chat. You need to watch. If you've not seen it, honestly, it's insane the roller coaster that you go on. Built to off meta. With the 8 months, says 58 million for Kvara to PSG seems like a steal. I'm wondering why we haven't been seriously linked with the midfielder yet, considering we need the most. The question that everybody always answers, and Anakin as well. Big up to off net. Anakin's basically asked the same thing. I'm happy with what the club are doing, but I hope we get a midfielder. But I'm starting to get worried that we aren't getting one. I think my theory. I'm going to put it out. I think my theory is right on Ederson. I think I'm right.
What's your theory?
Right. My theory.
Yeah.
My theory on Ederson is this.
This is the Atalanta midfielder, not the goalkeeper.
Correct. Although some people would say you could potentially play Ederson in midfield.
Sure.
This is my theory. Yeah. Well, exactly. This is my theory, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So
the hypothesis.
CDM /8/whatever. Right. I think City want Ederson from Atalanta. Now, we know this is true because City have been linked with Ederson, and I think it was Jack Gordon. People in the chat said it was Jack Gordon. I can't remember if it was, but people in the chat said, yes, it was Jack Gordon, right? This was before the transfer window opened. Atalanta are in a title race. They've never won the title in their history. They've got 5 league games before the window closes. That's now 4. They drew the first game against Udinese, so they've already dropped points. If they're out of the title race by the end of the window, I think Atalanta allow him to leave for big cash. If they're still in the race, no leave. They've got Juventus tonight. Juventus have only won one game in 5. After that, they play Napoli this weekend. Napoli.
Sorry, was that 1 in 5 against us by any chance?
No, that's league form.
Oh, apologies. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, interrupted.
So they probably will win tonight based on form. But that's what I think, man. This is what I think, Bray. I think we're waiting. I think Atalanta are saying, listen, we'll sell him if we're not in a race by the end of the window. But if we're in a race, we can't sell him. And they've currently dropped one game out of the first 5, and the next one's tonight against Juventus. Because we have been linked with this guy. We were linked with him. Jack Gordon linked us to him. So that's what I think. And I don't. The other thing is, if it's not this, if it's not him, then how come we've not signed anyone yet? Given the fact we've had 3 months to address the situation, why have we not been linked with anyone? What, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a reason why we've still not signed a DM. And my reason is because the DM that we're trying to get, we have to wait.
Yeah. So to confirm, your theory is predicated under the assumption that City are fine to wait and see, and City don't actually know themselves if they're going to be signing a player this Jan. Is that correct?
I don't think it's a great approach. I think it's the approach.
Right. Do you
And
think?
if we get Edison in, then and people he's good, which I still have my hands up in the air and saying I'm not sure about this guy, but let's just say he turns out, then maybe it's a good strategy. Maybe we just have to accept a couple more weeks of pain to get the player that we want.
I would be very concerned if that was City's approach. That seems very incompetent as a strategy for City, because
This
you
is a
are
football club that signed Savio and Gundogan in the summer and nobody else.
sure, but do you not think they've learned from those mistakes?
Yes, but the problem that we've got is, right, you can't get Bruno. You can't get Zubimendi.
Don't want him anyway. Sure.
Did you see that flick they did last night?
That's not changed my mind.
Okay. Edison is obviously on the list. What about they're probably sitting there thinking, well, we don't want to buy another Nunes.
Palacios is right there from Leverkusen.
I know you like Palacios, but clearly the club don't like him.
Stiller is right there from bloody Stuttgart.
I know you like Stiller, but clearly
he's
the
all
club
right
don't
as
like
well.
him. I know clearly the club are not liking these guys.
Well, they are, and they're operating in the shadows, like with haste.
Or they're
operating out of
operating
nowhere.
Or they're operating in the shadows. Absolute facts, maybe. But if it's a player who, the thing is, right, if it's not a player that is involved in some sort of like, oh, we need you to wait because we're in a top 4 race or we're in a title race, then why have we not signed the player already is the question that I'd then throw back at you. Because we're 2 weeks into the window now, and this was the priority signing. So let's say you're right. Let's say I'm wrong on this, yeah, that it's not Edison and we're not waiting.
Sure.
And we're working in the shadows.
Yeah.
Well, why is the player not signed then, given the fact that this was a priority signing? We had 3 months to identify the player, and we're 2 weeks into the window.
I don't know because I'm not involved, but negotiations are a thing, I suppose. There are many moving parts to many deals. You know, the Hayes one seemed to come out of nowhere. Maybe the midfield one will come out of nowhere in a similar manner as well. The only reason why the Marmoush one came out was because it was leaked by Egyptian sources, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe we are in talks with this midfielders camp, and maybe they are under the Hayes policy of keeping it on the DL, low key. You know, maybe they are appreciating City's desire for immunity. Not immunity is not the right word. But you know what I mean. Not being anonymity. That's the term I'm after there. Maybe that's what they're after. You know, being anonymous, not. Being
and I think
named.
that is true. I think
maybe that's what's happening. Sorry, what did you say about Edison?
I think you're right, but I think that player is Edison.
No, if it is, then I'm going to be angry. To be honest.
Yeah.
He is not worth the hassle of this stress, because I'm stressed. You know, I might have a calm exterior, but I'm stressed that we haven't signed a midfielder yet. You know, all my talk about this is a bit of copium, me saying that we're working in the shadows. I'm sort of hanging on to that, and I'm assuming we are. I'm going to reserve judgment until the transfer window closes. But if we aren't signing that player, or rather, if all this build up and all these nerves. If the end point is Edison, then I'm going to be concerned.
There's 4 games. There's 4 games now until the transfer window closes that the signing could play in. So effectively, let's say I'm right again, on Edison. There's effectively 4 games now that you're sacrificing in terms of not having the player, not sacrificing in terms of we're going to lose the game, but sacrificing in terms of not having the player by waiting it out. Brentford away, Ipswich away, Chelsea at home. Arsenal away.
All hard games.
After that, the transfer window's closed.
You could really use a midfielder for those games.
You could really use a midfielder for those games. However, if the club believe that the league is gone and that top 4 just get top 4, then I understand why they're waiting. I'm not having a go at him. I think it's poor that we've not got one, but I understand why they might wait for Edison if they feel he's the one. If they feel that Edison's the one, and they've been given some encouragement by Atalanta, but they've just asked them to wait, I understand why the club might wait. It's not. I don't like it. I'd rather have just got a player straight away in January. But I understand why they might do it. If that's the player that they want, to avoid another Nunes situation. Maybe they look at that Stiller and go, don't like him. Maybe they've looked at Palacios and gone, don't like him. And maybe they look at Bruno and say, we like him, but can't get him. And then looked at Edison and go, like him, he's the one. He's the one that we need. So we're going to wait. And yes, it might impact our short-term results, but we're going to wait.
Yeah. If I mean, fundamentally, if Edison is the answer, then the question is a lot more different than what I thought it was. In all honesty, he's not the answer that some people seem to think he is. He's like he's a good 7 out of 10 player. He's not good enough for us, in my opinion. We can do better than him.
I've only seen him
I would
twice.
rather sign no one than sign Edison. I'd rather sign no one and hoard that money and spend it big in the summer than waste it on Edison and then be stuck with him, to be honest. That sounds really mean. He's not a bad player, but he's not, in my view, he's not good enough for what we are after, personally.
Jeez.
Sorry, sorry, I know you like, I don't know if you like Edison, to be fair. Do you like Edison? I know you've got a theory. Do you like him, though?
I've only watched him twice.
Sure.
The first game is abysmal.
Right.
Like legit, actually shambolic.
Who was that against, sorry?
Chat, who was it against, man? I did a watch along. Chat, who was it against that first game that we did? Bro, he was so bad. And then the second game was decent. The second game was actually pretty good. And I watched the second game, I was like, yo, I can see this guy.
He's not a bad player. He's a good player. But I don't want it. We're talking about a rebuild for in terms of Man City's midfield, aren't we? I don't want good.
You want?
And he's not of the age. You know, he's not like Kusanov or Hayes, where it's like, oh, he's 18 years old, he's 20 years old, so you don't know what his ceiling is. Isn't he 25, Edison?
25.
So he's not a child. So it's not like he's got a massive level, like a huge, ridiculous level still to come in respect to his game, unless there's some massive evolution. I just don't see it as an elite footballer, in my view.
Okay. Built to Chicky Wing says, the plan is play one of those defenders as a DM, says Chicky Wing. I don't think he's gonna do that.
I've seen people in the comments of my Kusanov video saying play him in defensive midfield, and I just can't think of a worse thing. To be honest with you,
I don't think he's going to take a random 18-year-old who's hardly played any football and stick him into the most important position, arguably, for Pep Guardiola system. I don't think he's going to do that. I think if he was going to do that, he'd stick a Kanji or the Stones in there, or maybe Guardiola or someone like that. But he's not going to stick one of them in. Big up to Shoei, bro. Big up to you, man. Says Angelo Stiller. This is another player that keeps on popping up in my mentions, mate. Yeah, another player that keeps on popping up in my mentions. Yeah, I don't know, man. Is this a Hoffenheim, in it? Is it Hoffenheim?
Pardon?
Hoffenheim, is he this guy?
Stuttgart.
Oh, is he Stuttgart? Stuttgart. Okay. Yeah. No, I've not seen him, man. I've not seen him. FPL Main Road, good source when it comes to City news, guys. Hearing that Marmoush Medical will be held over the weekend on Monday. Can see him playing tonight's game at home and get a proper send-off. So that doesn't strike me as a deal then that's done, innit? Because if it was done, why is the medical not going to be until the weekend?
Be happy. Medical over the weekend. Be happy, LB. Why being such a Debbie Downer? Why are you bringing negativity and toxicity to this stream? I'm only a source of positivity and love. You're full of hate.
I'll tell you why I'm being toxic negative. Because if the deal was done, yeah, financially between the two clubs and the player, why are we waiting until the weekend? It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I would personally say, from my opinion, that the deal isn't done. Because if the deal was done, he wouldn't be playing tonight, and he certainly wouldn't be having a medical on the weekend. It'd be Wednesday or Thursday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just seen someone in the chat say, like, imagine if he gets injured, it might be like a Leroy Sané Bayern Munich thing, where he was like nailed on going to Bayern, and then Trent injured him.
Yeah, unfortunately, we play tonight as well, so we can't.
If he's a real citizen, he on the eve of the match, feigns a fever or something. It's like, I've got food poisoning, I can't play. That's fine. I need to see the commitment from him. Yeah, if you want to be a real one, that's what I want to see.
Yeah. I watched the game at the weekend. He was unbelievably good, especially the first half. Frankfurt turned to shit in the second half, which is a bit weird. But that first half, so good, man. So good, man. Like, I'm super excited for him, mate. I'm super excited for him, and some people in the chat, I've seen this guy a lot. I remember when people was mentioning Marmoush to me like 3 months ago. I mean, 9 men in the chat, a couple of other people in the chat was like, Mamouche, Brendan, Mamouche, he scored again. And I was like, yo, who the hell is this guy? I never heard of him until about 3 months ago. And City have obviously acted with intent here and purpose, and looks like we're getting him through the door. But yeah, it's exciting. It's a really exciting signing, man. And I wonder where he's going to play, because I don't really want to be moving Savio from the left-hand side because he's been playing well there. Do you reckon he's going to play behind the striker?
I think that he will play on. I think he'll play on the left out of possession. And then I think that there are two potential options for where he could go in possession, on ball. I think that he could either, stick to the left side, or I think we might do a sort of false winger situation where Gavardio would push up to the left, and then Mamouche would operate more centrally, closer to Haaland. That would maybe as like a second striker sort of situation. So almost like Foden last season, but a bit more advanced, because Foden was in midfield last season. Mamouche might be a little bit more advanced and closer to Haaland. That would be again, just thinking about the makeup of City's squad and how the dynamic would work. Instinctively, that would make the most sense for me. I'd be surprised if he started anywhere else. To be honest, surprised.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think
that would surprise me, Steve, if it was that would really surprise me if we did do that.
Steve's been asking for two up top for a while. He wants two strikers.
Yeah. We didn't even do that with Alvarez, so I don't think we've done that since we had Benjamin Mendy at the club and we played 3-5-2.
Correct.
I think that and that was what, 2017, was it?
Yeah.
So I'd be very surprised if that happened.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, but I don't know how it would work.
I think this is a brilliant signing, Brilliant signing. And
it's a lot better than I thought we were going to get. I had no idea for versatile forward names. I had no idea like someone like a Marmouche was even going to be attainable. So I think it's as good as you can get, especially in Jan. I think it's amazing.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant signing. And I always had faith that this club, would sort this shit out. You know what I mean? And like, this is what I've been saying for months. I think the club will sign 3 or 4 players, because they need to sign 3, 4, or 5 players. And they're aware of it, and they've accepted their mistakes, and that's why I've been saying, like, they are going to sign money, they're going to spend the money. You know what I mean? People have been telling me about PSR. Now, there's no PSR, man. We got the cash. You know what I mean? And the club need to get this deal across. And Brendan's right. Listen, he's not signed yet. It needs to get done. And it is a little bit concerning that apparently he might play tonight when we're being told the financials done. Like, what the hell's all that about? Like, why is he playing if the financials are done? So that tells me that the financials aren't done. Maybe they're really close. And the journalists are just getting a bit carried away and saying, yeah, it's pretty much done now. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe Frankfurt are just delaying. So we're not accepting this deal until we found our replacement, because we don't want to let Mamouche go and then be stuck for 2-3 weeks with no player. So we just want to make sure we've got a player ready to go. As soon as we've got a player ready to go, then we can do the deal so we can do our deal. I don't know. But yeah, it's a super signing, and this is the way City need to move. It's just we just need to get this midfielder through the door now, and that's going to go off, mate. If we get a name in there that we're all happy with, will it be a name that no one is mentioned? But we just need to get a name in. If we can get a name in, that everyone's happy with, the second half of the season should be pretty fun, because
the best January window ever.
Oh, sorry. For us, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying the stress is off us.
The stress is off us, because we're not going to win the league, right? There are a couple of people out there that think we're going to win the league. I don't think we're going to win the league. It's get top 4, and if we get these 2 defenders in Mamouche and a midfielder, we'll get top 4. We'll get top 4 if we get these players through the door. There's no doubt about that in my mind, yeah? So we go into games, the stress is off because we ain't winning the league. So even if we did draw a game, it's like, damn, but it's not affecting us because we ain't winning the league anyway. Have a really good go at the FA Cup and see what we do in the Champions League. And I think that, like, we could be in for a pretty entertaining second half of the season. The stress is off me, man. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I remember doing these, like, rival watch-alongs last year of Arsenal and that. And, like, they're killers. They're killers, man. You're literally watching them, and you'll watch them 90 minutes, and then they'll score a goal in the last second of the game to win the match, and it kills you. I'm not getting stressed no more. I'm watching the games. I'm enjoying it. If they score last-minute goal, they score last-minute goal. It don't affect me, because we're not in the title race no more. You know what I mean? Now, I don't like that long term, because I want to be winning titles, but like one season off it, Give the FA Cup a good run. Let's see what we can do in the Champions League and see what happens, man. Yeah. And then next year we go again. We get back on the stress train.
Of course, yeah. And again, I hate to. Well, I do like to say that you and I were right, but you know how we keep saying, or rather, we kept saying that we need to sign at least 2 or 3 players in Jan, if not just so that we can integrate them now and use January to May as a preseason, essentially. From the league perspective, anyway. The Champions League and FA Cup still a thing. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. The club clearly watch Elbins. They clearly watch the show. And they have moved in the transfer market accordingly. And it now means that instead of, having Hayes come into August and, him having to slowly integrate, we can throw him in now almost and have him up to speed come August and September. So next season, he's starting with the first team. You don't have to have that awkward integration period. It's great to see. And again, it's certainly the best January window in Man City's history, that's for sure. I think our other best was probably bringing Laporte in the Centurion year. That was, and we tried to bring in Mahrez as well. That could have been the best. But outside that, it's certainly the best in City's history if all the deals happen as we want them to, assuming this midfielder comes in as well. And it might be one of the best all-timer Jans ever. So I think you've got to say fair play. The club acknowledged the error.
Yeah.
And they've acted accordingly. So lovely.
Facts. And you know what it is as well, is for me, in this situation, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, they've acknowledged the error and they're sorting it out. And that's all I wanted is to, I'm not going to sit here and be like, they're never going to make mistakes. Of course they're going to make mistakes. They're humans. Now, the mistake that they made was pretty stupid. Yeah. Not getting another defender for me was stupid, when you got 7 defenders, one of them's fallen off, one of them is not even a right back, and 2 of them are injury prone. Not getting a backup striker is stupid. So, we can all say that, but, they make mistakes, they're rectifying it. And that's for me. This is why I would have gone sick if they didn't rectify it January. I'm like, you guys are taking a piss, And, Karl's right there, you know what I mean? I think Pep has a lot to play in this, reading his comments. Everyone's been cooking Tiki hard, Bray. Tiki out, Sounds like fucking Pep had a large part to play with this, you know what I mean? Apparently the club wanted to do the rebuild this summer. Pep was like, nah. Apparently the club wanted to sign a backup striker in the summer and Pep was like, nah. So it sounds like Pep was the one who basically said, nah, we're not spending any money, which I don't know why he's getting involved in that. You know what I mean? Bro, you just manage the players, isn't it? Tiki's the sporting director. He's the one, that's his job. And you're telling him no. Anyway, mistakes have been made. We know that, but they're rectifying it. And that's all I ever wanted to see. I've said this for months. All I've ever wanted is intent. That's why I didn't cook the club 2 years ago when they missed out on Rice, Bellingham, Paqueta, because it's intent. Yeah. This summer, no intent really. Bad news, apparently. What's the bad news?
Bad news, hello?
Bad news. City extra tweet, bad news. Oh no, this is bad news.
What?
We are incredibly saddened to learn of the death of Man City captain, manager Tony Buck, aged 90. A true club legend with 315 appearances to his name between 1966 and 1974. Winning the First Division FA Cup, 2 League Cups, 2 Charity Shields, a European Cup Winners' Cup, and the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year during his time as a Manchester City player and manager. Yeah, that's real sad news, guys. Real legend there. Tony Buck has passed away at age 90, guys. That's sad.
That's so sad. It was such a lovely story as well about why we signed him as well, because I think we signed him very old. He was in his mid 30s or even late 30s when we signed him initially, in the 68 season, or 67 season, maybe it was. And fullback. And the story behind it was who is this random guy we're signing? I think he lied about his age as well when we signed him. But then he went on to become a brilliant servant for the club for nearly a decade thereafter. And he captained us to so he was the captain in our first golden era, of the late 60s and the early 70s, when we had Bell and Summerby, etc., and Corrigan. He lifted our first ever European trophy, for example, when we won the European Cup Winners' Cup against a Polish side whose name Gornik Zaps, that's what they were called. Massive legend. I think he's been like an ambassador for like the past however many decades, hasn't he? He's always at the Etihad. He's always looked in good health. Shout out to Tony Buck, and obviously rest in peace. Massive legend, of course.
Yeah, that's sad news, man. That's sad news. R.I.P. Big up everyone in the chat there, man, as well. Yeah, big up to everyone.
Yeah, massive legend.
Yeah, R.I.P. man. R.I.P. Yeah, sad news, man. Sad news. We ain't gonna get a W tonight, innit? We need to go get that W tonight, man, against Brentford in honor of Buck, man. That would be nice.
Can I just say to CITD444? No, I'm not bloody reading off a screen. I know my history. I did a 90-minute documentary on Colin Bell. I know my City history.
He knows his City history. City died 4-4-4. I'll be calling him out.
calling you out.
Nah, crazy, man. Big up everyone in the chat, guys. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Big up to Niraj. Says, hi, LB. If Walker leaves, are we going to sign a replacement this January transfer window? Great question, bro. Spoke a little bit about it last night with Pat and Martin about if Walker goes, which, let's be honest, he's going and he's going to AC Milan. Do Manchester City need to buy a new right back, or are we okay with Akanji, Rico Lewis, and obviously the two new centre backs coming in as well can bolster our whole defence overall? Me personally, and I said this, so I'll ask Nobbins, don't repeat everything I said last night, but I'm content with sticking with Akanji and Rico to the end of the season. I don't want a squad rotational right back. Yeah, if we're buying a right back, I want it to be he's going to be starting for us week in, week out going forward because he's mint. Nobbins, your thoughts?
I agree that I don't want a rotational right back. I don't agree that I'm happy with the players we have right now. I want an actual right back.
You're not... So if I said to you now, right, Nobbins, Akanji and Rico Lewis to the end of the season.
No.
You're saying...
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
It only takes one Akanji...
Why don't you like it?
Because it only takes one Akanji injury to then have Rico Lewis at right back, and we know that in a squad without Rodri, that's not a thing. So I'm after an upgrade. And also, again, I like Akanji, but that for me is an upgradable position in my view. I like Akanji, but he is for me certainly now a utility defender. He's a great option who can play at left back, can play at centre back, can play at right back. I personally think that is an upgradable position. So I would like to, so I totally agree. Don't want a rotational right back. Don't want a squad right back. I want a starting right back, preferably one who can also help out elsewhere.
Yeah.
So if you can get a starting right back in Jan, I mean, we spent so much money already, so I doubt it. But if we're talking about the hypothetical, then I think we should be getting.
I think they're going to wait until the summer.
That's the thing. If it's a case of you can have a meh right back now, but not have the one in the summer, or you can suffer now, but then get a proper one in the summer, then I will take that as well. Same thing with my Edison take. I'll take that as well. People saying, let's bring in Kyle Walker-Peters. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening there. That's so...
Why you don't like him?
That so upsets me as a concept.
I like him, bro. But I've said this before. If you was to get Walker-Peters, you got to let Rico go for me. Yeah,
that's mental.
So the problem is we can't do everything now. We've got to just accept that we can't do everything now. And I know,
but you're giving me a hypothetical.
No, I am. I'm giving you a hypothetical. But this is what I'm saying is I think the club are gonna focus on other areas of the pitch which are more important. Stick with Akanji and Rico to the end of the season, and then go and get a right back in the summer, because they're already getting 3 centre backs: Victor Hayes, Abdu Huzanov, and Juma Bar. That one's a little bit more like.
How legit is that Bar one? I've not heard much about this link.
I think it's legit, but I think he's gonna be loaned. Right, we're getting Mamouche. We need a midfielder plus that Echeverry. That's 6 players. Plus a right back on top of that. 7 players. Imagine 2 months ago if I would have said to Martin and Tone, lads, we're signing 7 players. They're a heart attack.
My oil club is back.
They would have heart attack, man. They would have mocked me. They would have heart attack. I would have got cooked, yeah? But we're signing 7 players. So are we really going to sign? I don't think so. I think we're going to stick with Akanji. Yeah, Akanji can go to right back. We'll have Rico Lewis as a backup. Yeah. And then in the summer, they'll then sign someone. That's what I think. Just because you can't do enough, you can't get it all done in January, man. And
Of course,
of
course.
You know, I mean, and let's be honest, yeah, Akanji at right back is not horrendous.
He's good. He's only played at right back once this season. That was against Forest when we kept a clean sheet, and he was good that day. I agree that Akanji's best position is right back. I was just making the point that, it is fine for the rest of the season, but I'm just looking at as a position where going forwards, for me, it's certainly one we can look to upgrade. I know, maybe I haven't scouted him enough. Maybe Hayes can play it right back potentially, but long term, his future is probably going to be a centre back, isn't he? So, at some point, I want that to be addressed, and I want a proper Walker heir to come in. Akanji's like a fine stopgap. That's fine, but long term, I do need an upgrade there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm with you. Big up to Frank says Baleba is the one we need. Simple. Well, the funny thing is as well, Frank, is I don't see why you couldn't get Baleba now.
You'd have to spend like 150 million.
Wow, check this.
What?
Arsenal will sign Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi at the end of the season, says Sammy well.
Right. What are that club doing? What that club does not need is another fucking defensive midfielder.
Well, I think Thomas Partey is probably going to leave in it.
But they don't need Zubimendi. They need
Yeah, but if Partey leaves, they probably do need another midfielder in that position.
That's going to be such a weird midfield, man. So what? Zubimendi, Rice, Erdegaard.
Yeah,
that stinks.
You don't like it?
That stinks of urine, off urine as well.
I like Zubimendi.
No, I like him, but I don't really. I mean, Arsenal have a lot of issues this season. Signing Zubimendi and swapping out for Partey does not fix those issues, in my view.
Why has he decided to go there, man? He rejected Liverpool to go to Arsenal.
He wants to follow Moreno, maybe.
Is he mental, man? Oh, what's he doing, bro? Why is he rejecting Liverpool to go to Arsenal, the wrong one, man? I always told you this, guys. Last week, innit? I said, the red flags, man. Red flags.
Is Arteta Basque?
Don't know.
I believe Arteta is. I think he is anyway. Because Zubimendi's obviously Basque,
I thought he was from Barcelona region.
Oh, is he? Oh, you think it's Catalonian? I thought he was Basque.
I think he's from Catalonia, mate.
Chat, is he Basque? If he's Basque, then there's a sort of connection there, isn't there? Because the manager is from there. You can have the whole, I'm from the region, so you're not actually leaving home, and we've got Moreno here, so it's like home away from home.
People saying he is from there.
Right.
I cannot believe he rejected Liverpool to go to Arsenal.
Yeah, but how many Basque managers do Liverpool have? 0. That's how many.
That's our madness. Fair play. I mean, if that's legit, I think that's a great signing for Arsenal. 50 million quid. I mean, they still need a striker, right winger, left winger,
attacking midfielder.
But that's a good start. If it's true, it might not be true. But anyway, yeah, going back to this point on Baleba. Sorry, Frank. Going back to this point. The funny thing is on Baleba is you could actually get him now.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying, weren't we? Yeah. By the way, big up to Frank. I just want to say LB and I were on the Baleba train before it was cool. Just want to throw that out there before it became the mainstream. You'd have to spend like 150 million, though, wouldn't you? Let's be honest. How much was Caicedo? Was he 125 or thereabouts?
115.
Right, 115. Nice. Baleba will cost more than that, I think.
Really?
I think so, yes. Because Brighton are in such a strong position financially. Baleba's even younger than what Caicedo was. I think that lots of people, I mean, people who even rate Baleba even higher than I, they think that he's got an even higher ceiling than Caicedo. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's what people have said. It would not surprise me at all if Brighton look at that and go, right, well, Caicedo was 115 million. So that's our starting point. Now we have to account for inflation. So it's going to be even more than that. And we're probably even in an even stronger position financially than we were before we sold Caicedo. So add on to, and we know how desperate you are, City. So that all of that tax adds up and it adds up. So I think that it's going to be, the chat saying, 125 million. I would not be surprised if it was between 125 and 150. There or thereabouts.
I've got a potential shout here.
Sure. I was just going to wrap up and say, like, you're looking at a British record fee, I think.
I don't like this.
Okay.
But what about 100 million plus James McAtee?
I'd
Given the fact
personally.
that the club clearly don't want James McAtee here. Well, Pep don't, because you don't play him.
I would personally do that. And that's
I like the
sad.
idea of it, because I don't want to sell McAtee, but if the club ain't going to play him, then would it be better just to say, go there?
I think that from a purely logical perspective, that makes sense. I like McAtee a lot, and even though I've agreed with you and I've said he should have more minutes this season, but if you look at McAtee long term, like in the summer, we're going to go out and sign another attacker midfielder, aren't we? Like a quote De Bruyne, whoever that is, Bainer, Wirtz, Musiala, someone of that ilk. Okay, so immediately they're ahead of McAtee. Obviously, Foden is ahead of McAtee. So at an absolute maximum, he's our number 3 option from a 10 perspective. And then out wide, we've got Savio. Bob's going to be coming back. We've obviously got Doku. One would assume we're going to sign a wide player as well. The issue is that he doesn't really have a starting position in this team. And I doubt he ever will, to be honest with you. I think he'll only ever become a squad. I think he'll only ever be a squad player. I think that's a ceiling at City. So so if his mindset is, well, that's not good enough for me, he's going to be leaving anyway. So if that imaginary world happens, then that would be a thing.
What about the Eusebio guy at Lisbon?
Pardon?
Is he called Eusebio? What's he called, chat? Eusebio? Eusebio? Dario Isugo. You heard of this guy?
I don't know enough about him, sorry.
So this guy, Dario Isugo, guys, he's been named, this guy here. Oh, it's not. He's on loan. Yeah, I think he's a Sporting Lisbon player on loan. Yeah, he's a Sporting Lisbon player on loan at Las Palmas. Apparently, this guy is one to watch in the midfield position. And
I would be lying.
City fans stay on Twitter saying City should get him before he gets well expensive. 19 years old.
I'd be lying if I told you I've ever seen a game of his, so I don't feel comfortable to comment on him. To be honest with you,
I never heard of him until about 2 hours ago.
Oh, what happened 2 hours ago?
He was named in this 11. I think it was. Did anyone see that tweet this morning? Who tweeted that thing this morning? Some like big account tweeted a starting 11 of like, these are going to be the next big players coming through, and he was in the DM position. Cool. I don't know who. I can't remember who tweeted it. Let me know, chat, if anyone's seen that tweet this morning. I only seen it this morning. I was like, who is this guy? And I've seen a couple of comments underneath City fans saying City should get Eusebio or whatever it's called.
Hey, if the top people are saying that he's one to watch, like Hayes, for example, then I'd be up for it.
Yeah. Big up to Anthony. Says, are we bringing this Argentina player in this window? We are indeed. Echeverria, Shimimin, is with Argentina for the Sudamericano tournament. That should finish mid-February, late February, depending on where they get. We are going to be doing some watch-alongs of that tournament, man, because obviously there's a lot of ballers in there. We want to watch Echeverria. So first game is Brazil versus Argentina. So we will be there. I think kickoff's at about 11:30. It's towards the end of this month. I think it's on like the 27th, 28th or something of January. So we will watch it. Echeverria, hopefully he'll start. But yeah, that'll be nice, man. But yeah, February time. Before you go, do a lineup prediction. Breeze says Haaland. I don't know if we've got time, to be honest with you. I can maybe run through it real quick. Bear me a second. Big up to Pitblup. Says, still no midfielder. We're not serious. Much love, says Pitblup.
Tranquilo.
Calma.
We can lose our heads when the transfer window closes. Until now, tranquilo.
I think it's LB says, why another CDM? Weird club Arsenal. Party's obviously
Yeah.
going, isn't it? You've all seen the news in the media. We know what's happening. And we know what's going to happen. Yeah.
But I must say, after watching Arsenal this season, what they did really need was a stronger defence. So, fairs, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Brett, no, I don't think so, man. I've not seen anything. We're going to have to just dodgy stream it, bro, to be honest with you. Okay, let's run through the starting 11 real quick for tonight before we wrap up. By the way, guys, Nobbins is going live after this, so we will redirect you there. So make sure you guys stay on the channel. Have you scheduled it? Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I forgot to text you, but yes, it is scheduled.
Cool. Send me the link and then we can get it done. Okay, starting 11 for tonight. Let's run through it real quick. I'll take a start for me. I know Ederson played against Salford, but for me, I've now made Ortega my number one going for the form for the rest of the season. We've explained it loads of times. We don't need to go over it in detail, but short summary. We're shit at defending. We concede loads of chances, and I need a better shot stopper in goal. And Ortega's the better shot stopper, so Ortega starts.
Also, if Ederson's like doing this whole thing of, I don't know if I want to stay, then
facts. I also want players playing who are actually want to.
Then what's the point of literally giving you any minutes? To be honest, we'll see.
Right back.
Who's fit?
I think Akanji's fit. Diaz is fit.
Do we have enough centre backs to make Akanji at right back?
Diaz has been training for like a week.
Amazing. Akanji, Diaz.
I won the Nottingham Forest 45-minute experiment. Akanji, Diaz, Ake, and Gvardiol.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
How good was that first 40 minutes, guys, against Forest? It was amazing before Akanji got injured. That was great.
Yeah,
Let's run that again.
Yes, totally agree. That's our best back four with everyone fit, essentially. You could argue. Definitely, you could make an argument about Stones, but yeah, definitely 100%. Let's run it.
Diaz should be fit. He's been training, guys.
Partial training, says
Are you sure he's only doing partial training? I've seen it. I thought it was just in full training. Should I check it? Let me check it real quick.
Yeah.
Midfield. Go through the midfield, Bray.
Oh my gosh. So obviously Savio needs to start. That would be a lovely time had by all. Bernardo's going to be playing somewhere, isn't he, as well? I tell you what's actually, I'll just say like this: it'll be the same front five that played against West Ham. Will it? Would that make sense? So Savio, Bernardo, Haaland, De Bruyne, Foden. Does that make sense from a numbers perspective? And then Kova somewhere.
So Kovacic, KDB, Bernardo, Foden right, Savio left, Haaland up top.
Yeah.
I played that. Do we play Doku? Should we play Doku on the right? Do we drop Foden? Or do we drop De Bruyne? Or do we just play De Bruyne and Foden and drop Bernardo?
I think that attack against West Ham was one of the best that we've played all season, to be honest.
No, I agree, but
I'm running with that.
Okay, you're sticking with that. Should we put Doku in the side? I feel like I wanna be able to say to Doku, right, you've had a good game. Right, granted it was Salford, yeah, but you had a good game. Go and do that again. But I accept that maybe we should just stick with the attack that played against Leicester and West Ham that got us wins. Yeah,
I'm thinking Doku, impact player, bring him on. If we need to break, let's assume that we're trying to go for the win, and let's assume it's still a draw at that point. We bring him on last 20 or so minutes. If like De Bruyne is tiring, for example, we could bring him on for him and then pop him off against tired legs and then see what he can do out on that right side. That's maybe how I'd like to run it.
I agree. I'm going to stick with Foden on the right-hand side. But I've got to say, Foden's got to start delivering, man. Otherwise, you're going to have to fucking drop him for Doku and maybe, better bench him for a bit. Or maybe if De Bruyne gets injured, play him in the middle. So, I stick with that.
Well, he played well the last time he started against West Ham.
I agree. I'm just saying because Doku played well against Salford. And I know it's only Salford, but
he still played well, Doku, yeah.
He still played well. Yeah. Played well. So, I agree. I stick with this team, stick with the starting 11 that played, stick with the attack. Diaz is a weird one here, guys. It's saying this. This was before the Salford game. He said he feels better, but he's not quite ready yet. I don't know when he'll be back. So maybe he won't be available then for tonight's game. I don't know. Maybe it's like a 50-50 situation. Would you risk him if he's like semi-available?
No, I don't
So
think
you
we can afford to have him
play
injured.
Rico Lewis right back.
Yes, I would probably have to. I'm afraid.
Mm.
It's a shame Kusanov isn't here because I'd just throw him straight in. To be honest.
Yeah, bro, I
Vibes.
would as well. I just throw both in it. Like, what have we got to lose? What have we
Literally.
got to lose? All right. Well, there you go. There's the starting 11, guys. Make sure you guys smash up the likes. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new. Nobbins is going live for a chin wag. So make sure you guys go over to his channel. It's going to redirect you. Before you leave this stream, do me a favor, guys. Smack the like button. Don't cost you a penny. Massively help support the channel. And double check that you are subscribed. If you are subscribed, hit the bell notification, because then when we make a Bombazzo signing, yeah, boom, you'll get the notification when we go live. You don't want to miss it, innit? So a couple of things for you to do there before you go. Yeah, we'll redirect you to Nobbins stream. Anything that specifically you're talking about, bro, or just a bit of a chat? What's going on?
Well, the title of the stream is Man City's defensive rebuild, and I've put Hayes in the thumbnail, so we will be touching on, where will Kusanov fit in. Now that I'm happy with my scouting, Kusanov, we'll be chatting about, how good is he, more extended analysis, the concept of Hayes, and also we'll be touching on the Brentford match tonight, and just like, as you say, a general back and forth Q&A chit chat with the chat.
Cool. There you go. Well, stream will redirect you guys. It'll come up in the live chat. Sometimes it'll come up on the main screen. Go over to Nobbins and see what our defensive rebuild is, and see how long you can go without mentioning the words single, guys. Yeah. Let's see. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. RIP Book as well. There you go. RIP Book in the chat, guys. See you later.